to get here, and it's going to take us a while to get out.
But, you know, when you look at our polling shows that the American public doesn't want to talk about George W. Bush getting us into the ditch as President Obama.
No.
Gloria,
in fact, your
they're over that.
In fact, your polling says quite the opposite. Your polling says in May you asked a question, CNN asked a question, do you blame Bush and the Republicans more than you blame Obama and the Democrats? The answer was you blame Bush more. That's not the point.
But they believe it's President Obama's economy.
And that's the point I'm making. This isn't about affixing blame. This is about understanding that we're not going to repeat the mistakes that got us into this mess. Right. I'm not suggesting this election is going to be about blaming what happened in 2007.
Right.
But again, when John asked the questions tonight, the solution was, let's do what we did in 2007 and 2008.
The president recently said, though, that this is just a bump in the road, the economy right now, the problem it's facing right now.
He didn't say the economy was a bump in the road. He said, obviously, in jobs reports, we're going to have good reports and we're going to have bad reports.
And as you know, Mitt Romney has jumped on that today with the commercial. Do you think that was a mistake for the president to say that?
No, look, I think we have to understand, and I think we have to talk about the economy the way the American people live it. And that is that they're hurting every day, okay? We've created jobs in the past 15 months, but we have family members that are out of work. We have neighbors that are out of work. That's how people are living this economy. I will say this, look, everybody wishes you could wave a magic wand and you could watch that thing just tick up immediately. But what the president was saying is, we're going to have fits and starts to some of this.
Robert.
And I think that's the key to this is we got to keep pushing.
Last question to David.
Yes, David.
Let me ask you this question. I understand why if the Republicans come and say, let's make this a referendum on Obama, you say, let's make it a referendum on George W. I get that. But the question becomes this, what about the future? When is the president going to give us a plan to deal with the slowing of the economy and also to deal with the deficits? Because he's now caught between a lot of people say he's got to stimulate in the near term versus getting the deficits down in the long term. How is he going to square this? What's his plan?
I'll say a couple of things. First of all, David, this is not going to be, and I'm not setting this up to be an election to blame George Bush, but I'm suggesting what a series of decisions that got us into the mess is not a series of decisions we ought to make to try to get us out of it.
Well, what are the decisions the president is making?
Well, first and foremost, we've got to continue to do the things that the president did last December in terms of spurring job creation through tax cuts for small businesses, allowing people to invest. I saw a figure today. A lot of companies are buying new equipment because...
Do you think he's going to go back and put some new legislation on the table?
I think obviously that's something that is being talked about. We have a payroll tax cut on the side of employees. The question is, should you do that on the side of employers? Obviously, you'd need to structure that so that CNN didn't let Anderson go on Monday and hire him again on Tuesday, so they got a tax credit. But the question is, are there things that we can continue to do, as the president has done, cut small business taxes 17 times to spur the economy? He laid out, I think, pretty clearly in the State of the Union. We've got to do a lot of things, both in the short term and the long term. We've got to reform education. We've got to increase job training, and we've got to really create the jobs of the future, because some of the jobs that disappeared, we know aren't coming back, and we're going to have to create new jobs in new industries to put people back.
I got to go to a commercial break. Thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our coverage